I think this is the thing about podcasting. I'm coming around to these conclusions. There are specific types of podcasts that you have. Entertainment, informational, storytelling, and like an interview style. So, entertainment, informational, storytelling, and interview style. And let's keep it a buck. I think we're entertainment. Sometimes we can be interview, but for the most part, we're entertainment. Playback, or not playback, peer to peer. When they had people on and they were asking them about their lives and stuff like that, that's interview style. That's interview style. When you try to cross over into that sector of informational, and you can have a mixture. And let me say that. Would you say LKIAB has a mixture of all? Yeah, absolutely. Some podcasts specifically stick to one type. They specifically stick to one type. However, there are some podcasts that pretend to be one type, but are really another type. And I think that that's interesting because this video that I pulled up on or came across this week on my timeline was dispelling a lot of the statistics. And it made me think about all the times that I've ever watched a podcast, listened to a podcast, or whatever the case may be. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what I know that that's a shocker. But when you get these people unaccredited, uncertified, unclassified, it's just Joe Rogan and Molly the mom, or Joe Rogan and Hank the Henry. They're on podcasts and they start talking about things in which they don't know about. You can't take those as serious platforms. You can't. And I think it's a disservice. And it's a theme on the internet. I'll talk more about what happened with my brother and Kevin Durant later on the podcast tonight. But it's a theme on the internet. It's this intersection, and that's what makes the internet so beautiful. We blend worlds, but it's this intersection of amateur and professional. It's this blend between amateur and professional. And it's sad to say that some of these amateurs put the disguise on as professionals, right? Spew buzzwords, spew all these things that make it seem like they know what's going on. Shouts out to the 93 in the building.
Oh man, not again.
They spew these things as if they know what's going on, but once fact checked, you'll see that, oh man, this was so easily debunked. And the problem being, nobody has time to fact check. When I listen to podcasts, I'm usually listening to them as I'm doing something. I'm usually doing something while I'm listening to a podcast. I might be washing dishes, I might be driving, I might be at the gym, I might be doing a plethora of things. So there's no way, for the most part, that I will be doing my task, hear something that a podcast says, say, hold on. Let me stop right there. And then let me fact check this podcast. People won't do that. People don't do that. People do not do that. So I want to introduce this because I think that this phenomenon, as they would say, exists heavily in like these manosphere places and spaces.
Single mothers are.
I want to make sure we understand. And as a content creator, I'll give you the insight. I'll give you the backstory. I'll give you the scoop. You can make yourself sound believable. I think that we do a good job, a great job even, of allowing people to have conversation, to engage in conversation. If you watch any of my personal videos, personal live streams, if you're involved in the Twitter Spaces, if you're involved in the Discord, if you're involved in Twitter in general, if you're involved in the Let's Keep It a Buck podcast, if you're involved in any platform that I myself, and I'm only going to speak for myself, participate in, I believe that right now, as I sit as a content creator, I do a good job of engaging in conversation about a take that I might have, a stance that I might have, right? So if you disagree with me, I'll give you the opportunity to explain why you disagree with me, and we'll go back and forth for a little while. Now, I often prefer to do that on a platform on which we can talk about it. I'll even allow people, because they do it all the time. Like people will respond to past pods. You know, you might be binge watching the pod. I say something, they give a point. I'll even come back and respond because they commented on a pod we did 3 months ago today. I'll make a point to respond to that and say, you know what, my bad, I was wrong. Maybe true. Maybe I have a different opinion or whatever. And I can be wrong. We can also get opinions, but hey, I always say this, we can have the conversation. In my eyes, you could be wrong. In your eyes, I could be wrong. But at least we had a conversation and came to a better understanding. I'm not trying to have a conversation to make you change your mind. I'm just trying to come to a better understanding when we do have a conversation, right? But so what these guys do is they get on here and they repeat numbers. They just say numbers. They say things like that. Again, nobody's going to fact check. In the flow of a 2-hour podcast, nobody's going to fact check it. And there might be some people that'll come back, do whatever, fact check. It'll fall on deaf ears. People will say you're hating. People will say you're a simp. People will say you're a bunch of different things. Like a bunch of different things will happen if you decide to challenge said famous podcaster on their platform, said streamer on their favorite streaming thing, said tweeter on. People will go after you. Hey, man, that statistic wasn't true, or you're misinterpreting that stat, or whatever the case may be. Nobody's going to check. Nobody's going to check you. Nobody's going to check you. So why not? Why not say what you want to say? Look at this. Do y'all think anybody even question? And then they also create a platform. They surround themselves with other people that won't check them. I feel like on Let's Keep It a Buck, we do a good job. We do a literal good job of challenging somebody if they have a take. Even to the point where I'll pose a counter take. And I know I've said this before. Some people don't think that I do this for real. I'll pose a counter take, not because I believe it. I just don't want it to be a circle jerk in the room. Nobody wants it to be a circle jerk in the room. If we had a circle jerk, it would literally be, all right, Let's Keep It a Buck. We're talking about this. Who's the best player ever to touch a basketball? Sage says LeBron James. Biso says LeBron James. Damo says LeBron James. I say LeBron James. 1, that's a quick segment. 2, we're going to say the same things over and over again, and it's just going to become redundant. 3, it's a circle jerk. Like, nobody wants to hear that. All 3 of them say LeBron James. I'm going to post, wait, what about Michael Jordan? Right? Look at the all defensive teams. Look at the trophies. I'm going to pose that even if I don't believe that Michael Jordan is a better player, even if I believe LeBron James is a better player, I'm going to pose a Michael Jordan argument, not because I believe that Michael Jordan is better. I want to have a better conversation, see why you stand on your points, see if you stand firmly in your points. And even if you don't agree, that's fine. But these podcasters create a platform in which they enable circle jerkage to where nobody can check them. So you could say random stuff, and that's why these numbers are jumping around from 70% to 80%. You can just say anything. Just say anything. As long as it aligns with the agenda. You'll never get backlash. Now, if it doesn't align with the agenda, you will get backlash.
Single mothers are literally the worst parents on the entire planet. Statistics back that. Over 70% of young men that grow up under a single mother single mother in particular, end up in prison.
So
No validity. Nobody's ever checked that. And at least we have some statistics right here to back that. And I don't even know if his statistics are right as well. It would be my responsibility to go forth and figure out if what he's saying is true or not true. I want to look at this one right here in particular. Hustle with Dre. And we're going to stereotype. Because I want to see if y'all believe that Hustle with Dre. I want to see if y'all even believe that what he's saying is true. And what's crazy is these are ultimately all these folks is grifters. Like all these folks are grifters. This is Hustle with Dre's YouTube page. This says, I'm just a college dropout who broke into the tech industry and helps others to do the same thing while at time giving some outside the box insights. Daily conversations about ambition and what it takes. Hustle with Dre. So we're looking at tech sales, truth about tech sales, tech. All these things are tech related. Now, where does he find a way to sneak in rhetoric? Like where in what he has going on his channel is he sneaking in conversations about, women and what women do, single mothers? I don't know the context because we didn't have the whole clip, but that to me that just shows that you don't even have good intentions about what you're saying right now. You know that there's a lane for this.
Single mothers, single sisters.
Now these
are
niggas are
to blame for the high population of men in jail.
70% of youth in juvenile delinquent facilities come from single mother homes.
80% of all youths in prison are from single mother homes.
If you compare a single mother, there's 80% chance of going to jail.
80% of all prison inmates came from single mothers' homes.
And I wonder, because the other thing that's so telling about this is what happens to the girls in these situations. It sounds like single mothers are great if you have a girl. So they're not the worst parent. You just have to have a girl. I think it's just the most interesting phenomenon how you can go out here and spew statistics, say stuff, and nobody's ever going to check you. Now, another thing that I found was interesting.
Are to blame for it. And this statistic has been copy-pasted across every website for fathers' rights groups and family law attorneys representing.
This statistic has been copy and pasted on fathers' rights groups. Narrative pushers. They have a narrative to push. This is Fathers' Rights of Dallas, Rochester Area Fatherhood Network, FathersChild.com, San Antonio Fatherhood Campaign, BlueRidgeCounseling.com is a WordPress thing for the fatherless generation, and HeartlandOrg.ca. Nobody's ever going to check you. Now, another thing that I found was interesting.
Are to blame for it. And this statistic has been copy-pasted across every website for fathers' rights groups and family law attorneys representing.
This statistic has been copy and pasted on fathers' rights groups. Narrative pushers. They have a narrative to push. This is Fathers' Rights of Dallas, Rochester Area Fatherhood Network, FathersChild.com, San Antonio Fatherhood Campaign, BlueRidgeCounseling.com is a WordPress thing for the fatherless generation, and HeartlandOrg.ca. There's more to this video. I want to continue to play it. Not that one, but this one.
Institutions not. Now, the statistics on inmates are actually fairly easy to get, thanks again to the Bureau of Justice Statistics. And in 2002, they showed that the number of offenders from single mother homes actually dropped from 41 to 39%. And they did again find that 3 times risk for single mother households. And you can see that when we adjust for social, educational, and economic disparity, that risk drops to about 2 times. But before single fathers start to crow about this, look what happens when dad gets a new partner. They offer some of the worst outcomes. And when we remove the economic advantage that single fathers often have, you can see that single fathers with a new partner offer the worst outcomes, beating out single mothers with stepfathers, and even children not raised by either parent.
Listen, man. Shouts out to the 100 in the building.
He's on fire.
Shouts out to the 100 in the building. Look at my face. It's a game-winning face. It's about bias. It's all about bias. It's literally all about bias. And you know, I understand why they exist. I understand why they exist. I understand why certain podcasts exist. All this stuff is on the internet. All this stuff is Googleable. I don't even think that you should just blanketly believe me. I think you should take it as a challenge. No, it's your boy. I didn't miss it. I'm coming up on it. I think you should take that as a challenge to say, hey, this counters what I've been thinking. Let me at least investigate it. Let me at least put my hypothesis to the test. Let me at least put my beliefs through the ringer. However, it is easier to believe what you believe and not actively seek a challenge. It is easier to surround yourself with people that believe what you believe and things that will confirm your beliefs as well. Simple as that. These kids are bad. Let's look at the moms. And when you look at that person's life while they're investigating, they've had issues with the women in their lives. I'm going to get into the women in a second. Trust me. It's your boy says for $9.99.
Oh man, not again.
Nah, this is crazy. Shouts out to Walmart. Thank you for providing content because creators create. We may not always see eye to eye on topics, but I respect and admire your willingness to conversate and share opinions. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sponsor the stream. Yeah, I think it's easier to not get challenged. I think it's easier to not look up some of this stuff. I think it's easier to get reaffirmed in your beliefs. And it's harder to, go against what you're thinking. It just is. It literally just is. I think a big part of the problem with these male podcasts, besides the link, besides the the skewed statistics, is the echo chamber. You say what you want to say, that's fine. You should at least allow people to counter what you say. You should actively seek people who challenge your thoughts and your beliefs. Although I don't think that they thought that was going to happen when they brought on Dr. Umar. I actually applaud Daily Wrap Up for bringing someone like Dr. Umar on, because he challenged their process, their thought process, and placed the blame somewhere else. And he didn't do the best job of allowing them to investigate it, but allowed them to investigate, where they stand and why they stand where they do stand. So I'm a big fan of that type of conversation back and forth. And that goes for a lot of people too. That goes for a lot of people. Shouts out to Stephanie, man. And the 100 in the building. I like that.
Splash.
Stephanie says for $4.99, bro, remember when you hopped on that red pill pod with your brother? All the chat was calling you a simp or saying you're giving out wrong info. You're right. Because it's easier to believe what you believe. And that's one of the dangerous parts about the internet. You can put yourself in rooms and in situations where nobody's going to challenge what you say. And if you don't like what they're saying, you just click off, log off. And everybody says that. Oh, just log off, just log off. But for some people, they need that. They actually need that. Go, if you're in history class, think about this. When you were in high school, you were in middle school, you were in college, wherever school, you're in history class, you believe something. I remember when I was growing up, the Confederate flag shit was a crazy hot topic. You know, oh, the Confederate flag is my heritage, it's my pride. You know, it stands for my Southern heritage, all this stuff like that. And they would get challenged by their teachers. They would get challenged by their peers. They would get challenged by the readings. They would get challenged by, you know, somebody putting the education in their face. And some of them came out of it having a different belief. Or at least if they didn't come out of it having a different belief, they had the knowledge. But now, if I get on the internet right now and I said, hey, the Confederate flag is from my Southern heritage, it doesn't mean that shit. It wasn't fought for slavery. All that, that's over exaggerated. That's not what it means. If you disagree with me, all I'm going to do is block you. I don't have to see you again. I'm going to go through my comments. I'm going to block you. 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 I'm going to follow 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 you. And that's who my circle is going to be. Just people that keep reaffirming the beliefs. I don't know if y'all seen this, the last thing on this. I don't know if y'all have seen that, what's it called? That Jordan Klepper dude, or he's from the Daily Show Tonight or whatever. But they have those Trump rallies, and he goes to them and he asks them questions and stuff like that. And they say Trump is a part of QAnon or what all these things. They say all these things. What's it called? They say all these different things. And it lets me know that all those people just live in echo chambers. Literally, they just live in echo chambers.